All right, hello everyone. This is GrowWeb. We are continuing our areas, our plottable areas. So a year ago, I released the plottable area primitive, and this year we plan the next area, the next humankind area, and we are focusing on medieval era. So no longer primitive and like prehistorical era. Now we are trying to make a medieval scene. Writing figurative work with code is very uneasy. It's very complex because usually when you do generative art, you are more into abstract art, and I've been trying to achieve more figurative work. So we are into this session of a new session where I think it's like the fourth session of developing this new generator. We have been in the past, I've been exploring castles, so that's gonna be useful for medieval area, as you can see here. But more recently, we have been developing some primitives like belfry, which still needs to be improved, but this is a prototype. Another prototype was making some trebuchet, like trebuchet siege, and like a belfry tower. So it's like all about medieval siege. Then we started building an army with some spearmen, with some bowmans, with some like archer, and with some battles with like blades and shields. But yeah, now we will have to put all together to make it to like a more organized scene with like many things going on. With the mountains, and the goal is still to make reflection on the water as before, with like a sky part as well. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of crowded items in a plot, and the challenge for me is like to try to make them figurative and realistic while keeping it very small, because the idea is like we cannot put too much detail because it's going to be a very global scene from very far away. So it's like a landscape still in the mountains. So like maybe 1 millimeter on the paper is going to be a feet or something like that. I don't know exactly what dimension, but like 1 centimeter is 1 meter in the real world. In any case, we try to continue that today, and we will try to achieve both. So we will focus on the sea part. Here it was meant to be on the mountains, and I think we have most of the stuff we need, except putting all together at some point. For sure, we'll have to improve. We'll still have to develop more of this work, but overall, I think we have a good progress, and we will now focus on boats. So I think I have some inspiration from the internet. I have found some reference that could interest me, like this, but not really. I mean, still interesting. Like I like this idea where the army is organized that way, and I have tried to inspire it a bit from when I have made this one. But yeah, we will never reach such detail of drawing. But it's important to look in a like very detailed version to try to reduce it in a logical, in a like a realistic way. So my main inspiration for today, my main reference, even though we may look for more, but I like this one because it's quite simple and minimalistic. It's going to be this kind of boat, and what really interests me as well is to develop this kind of animal head on the boat. But overall, we will have very small people. I think we will just reuse the same the same engine for small people, except they will be inside the boat, so we will only see half of them. So yeah, that's it. That's the plan. Let's go. So I think we can start. I can try to put this as a ref, just for you to remember that I'm using that ref. But that's our goal for today. So let's move on. What I will do is cloning my project that we are doing these people, and we will start from it. So I'm going to copy the project. And yeah, as always, you can see on my right here, there is like my plotter going on here. Because that's how I stream. I always make my plotter busy, and unfortunately, it's actually very fast plot. So maybe I will do a bunch. We will see. I want not to get too much interrupted because I have to now focus on my coding, but that's a bit my Pomodoro technique, my like motivational technique to get things done with my plotter, doing the tempo, giving the tempo for my coding. So let's see, let's move on. Should I do a loop, a watch loop, or a generation loop? Maybe a generation loop. So we start it, and it runs. So these are my old people, my old stuff. But we reuse exactly the same code because that's actually useful for trying to improve it or like using the same engine. So we don't share the same code, we just copy it because possibly we diverge from it. So it's like we want to preserve the previous work while allowing to do some evolutions on a new version. It's the way I do things because it's like you want to save some snapshots of your past work. Okay, so Polygon, a lot of code in this piece. So what should we do? Maybe should we have archers? Archer on a boat is an interesting concept. You know, I've replayed the game. I don't remember the name of that game, but like you have to defend. Like there's people coming in boats, and you have to defend your island. And some are archers, some like they can be anything, and it's a nice ref as well as a game, but it's even more minimalistic. This game, it's not pixel. It's not pixel art game. It's more like a low polygon style, if I recall. So if people have blades like they are like raising them, or I don't know, no, they are just they have to navigate. So what's actually funny on that picture ref that we have as a ref is like people have shield, but they are still like who is using the like the I don't know if you say that, like the wood stick. Like only one person here. That makes no sense, but whatever. So maybe we just take the shield with no spare, and that's it. So we can try that. I think it makes sense that the shield is have the same shape, but that means we actually should we actually should give yeah, I don't know, like this is RNG, so we shouldn't give the RNG at the end. We should maybe not allow. I don't know what's the best plan for shaping the shield. Tick. Why? Okay, I think this can stay random, but I think the shape is very important to be a parameter, like the shape factor 1. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a clear name. Like this should be RNG values, and then I'm going to use them here. Because what I want to do is make them static for the same line. So like all the people of a line have the same shield shape. Shape 1. Okay, nice. So now, why is this shield not in front? Not in front. It should be in front. So maybe we reverse right pose angle, elbow left. Do we even use that? Oh yes, I don't follow orientation, which is maybe a mistake. Like, people should be able to raise their shield to protect themselves. I think that means we need to actually rotate angle. We don't allow to rotate the shield. Yeah, I think we'll have to think about this for later. Okay, so I kind of like this idea where there will be some randomness in their positioning. And I think we will statically set it. What is this music? That's nice. Okay, what's up with the helmet? It's a weird helmet. Where is this? The fuck? Oh, it's actually the head. Well, that's weird. Yeah, I think we'll have to push more. To put more work into this. Yeah, not so satisfied about this. Salut. I'm working on a generative art, on a generator called. Or did I close my? Okay, let me show you this again. So this was something I worked on a year ago, making a generator of these sceneries. So like a landscape with a sunset on mountains. So this was this idea to make. So this is a generative art. So it's like we generate many variations of something. So I have some in my background as well. This is made with a pen plotter, but at the beginning it all starts with code. So it's like we write code that make mountains, making lines, curves from bottom to top to shape mountains. But then we try to put some item on the mountain, some boats. So this was like making a global scenery like that. And the idea is to make humankind areas. So this is like the primitive area. So like prehistorical scene. So you have people on boats. You have sometimes you even have some mammoth. But now I'm trying to develop the same idea for medieval. So I've been in the past making some castles like that. I've been working on some siege machines. I've been working on some armies like we are doing here. And now what I'm trying to do is, so this is like a bit my to-do list here. I'm trying to focus on the boats that will be on the water. So my reference is what I have above. That's what I use as a reference to try to achieve something similar. So yeah, I'm going to make some a lot of army people on a boat. I like this idea also to make something similar to this, like there is a lot of people on a boat. It's like so overkill, so unrealistic, but I like this craziness of like medieval drawing. So I'm trying to achieve at the end a generator of siege, like a medieval. There will be a maybe attackant, so like a castle defending with archers, and people attacking the castle. So there will be a bunch of actions, and yeah, that's gonna be fun. So I'm trying to build it step by step and stream the whole process of it. I've been wanting to ask, but I usually just see the machines. Yes, and at the same time, my plotter is busy on something totally different usually. It's just to give a pace. Yeah, it will be a medieval design generated by code, yes, and like many variations. So it's like you take a different seed and you get different results. And sometimes it's going to be peaceful. Sometimes there will be some attack. Sometimes the castle is destroyed and it's like after the attack. So yeah, I have to design all these possibilities and try to make everything realistic. The machine is an Axidraw. Do I have maybe that? Yeah, so the plotting, so it's a plotter, it's a pen plotter. So it's an Axidraw A3. It comes mounted already. So sometimes you actually have to mount it yourself, but I haven't designed it. It's something already made. Yeah, what I have been customizing is my camera system to be sure to have like a third-person camera and a first-person camera. But yeah, having a lot of fun. So this work that is getting drawn at the moment is something I did a year and a half ago. But I'm currently revisiting it using another technique, another feeling technique, because the challenge of plotting is always how do you feel if you want to color something, a surface, how do you feel with only strokes? And this explores a new way I have been experimenting recently. Okay, so let's try to make some boat. Are you able to change tools? What do you mean by changing tools? Like the pen, the paper? Is the goal to only use one pen? No, yeah, you can do multiple layers. You can do multiple inks. Like this is my website. On the plots section, you can find all my recent work, and one of my most recent work has been exactly exploring this combination of inks. So here I'm using 2 inks. Here I'm actually using 3 inks, but they're like blending into each other. So it's doing one by one. So this is a time lapse that is showing it. So first pass doing it in blue, then second pass doing a red over it. So it's one by one. Like you cannot. Wow. Is this thunder? Okay, we have a crazy thunder here. Hold on. Whoa. Oh my god. We have a very, very heavy ice. Like, how do you say that? Hail. Grêle, il grêle. So yeah, you cannot do 2 colors at the same time. So it's like you have to think how do you combine the colors, in which order, how much intensity, and most of the time I actually use fountain pens, stylo plume. Yeah, I stream sometimes in French, sometimes in English, but because I'm doing some kind of podcast that will be later on YouTube as well, I'm doing it in English today. But yeah, just to finish on this, so yeah, sometimes it's very interesting to play with ink, notably fountain pen inks, and the way they blend into each other is always fascinating, and that's what is funny about pen plotting. Always surprising results on paper. Like the way, for instance, here it's like blending into each other is not something you would have expected. Or like, yeah, there's always like surprises with this analog process. Okay, so I have to make a boat now. I have to make a bunch of boats. So I guess. So the idea is like to develop some primitives that I can then reuse and put them all together to make a big mountain scenery. But right now I'm only going to make a study plot where we will have a lot of boats aligned in a weird way, but at least we can test them. And I guess what I need to do now is to make a function, a boat with people. So do I simulate pen plotting? Yeah, I have developed some tooling for that, like trying to simulate the ink. And sometimes when I publish my releases, I want the digital version to be as good as the physical version, like to try to simulate the ink. So for instance, the plottable areas, let me try to find an example. Like I've tried to simulate, yeah, but it's not going to be as... Yeah, I cannot really find. Oh, this one. Okay, maybe this one. So for instance, this was published on FXhash, and I've been trying to... Oh, okay. So this is like a digital preview of the plot, but it's actually not the plot. Yet I'm trying to simulate the behavior of the ink. For instance, the yellow color is when it accumulates, it's going into orange color, and that's like what happens physically for real. Like this ink on fountain pen, like this is actually a plot. And when you compare, so this was a digital theory and the physical reality. So like the physical reality is even darker than what I was simulating, but at least here it was not just yellow. So I tried to take into account the accumulation of ink and try to simulate that, and even making some kind of animation effect. Anyway, that's a subtle stuff. But yeah, it's always a surprise when you plot it physically. Like this is very, very like there's a lot of details, and the fact the ink sometimes get darker. You don't explain. You don't really know why, but it's very random, like physically as well. So well, yeah, with generative art we play with randomness, but in the physical world of pen plotters we also will trigger some randomness. So that's making it even more interesting and generative. Yeah, it could be that. It could be like the ink flow can vary over time, or like the speed depending on the direction, depending on many aspects. Yes, and if you start plotting usually at the beginning of the plot, it's going to flow faster, and then it's going to slow down. And oh yeah, so some ink behaves. Yeah, like we'll have different shades, and usually it's like there's probably some chemical effects going on, but yeah, some ink moves from black to red, or like blue to red, or like this one is like yellow at the beginning, but then when it accumulates, it goes into red colors. Are you generating G-code for the printer? So I'm using the SVG format, the vectorial format. and it's not directly G-code that I'm using, but I use a Axidro machine comes with a plugin on Inkscape that I use. So from a SVG file, I can start the plot directly. But yeah, I think you can convert from G-code to the Axidro machine. But yeah, that's also a format such printer use, like a 3D printer. Why do I have bows? Yeah, maybe I will have some some archer on boats. Maybe we'll have different kind of boats. But the problem is I have not factorized my logic. I need to have a easier helpers. Like, okay, I want an archer at this position, in this direction, like doing this kind of like easy going to easy, like tired or like yeah, is it like buzzy or not? Anyway, I have to improve the way to compose my objects together, because here it's like I have it's like a random people here. It's not a spearman anymore. There is no spear. So yeah, I think if there's a spear on the boat, it's going to be too buzzy, maybe. Does Rust allow you to have multiple files? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the Axidro plugin is doing for me the sending to the machine. Oh no! It's not touching the paper. What happened? Maybe it moved. I don't get it. Well, I think we will start over on the same on top of what we did. It's okay. Maybe I didn't yeah, fixed it enough, strong enough here on the pen. So yeah, that's a fail. Well, I don't care. We start over. We start over the same path. Oh no, it's offsetted. Well, it's going to be a glitch plot. Well, yeah, it's a bit a fail. It's okay. I think with fountain pens, it could be more interesting. Okay, let's make a boat. What will vary in the boat? I'm not sure. Yeah, with Australia, it's not easy. I have to stream earlier in the morning. It's not it's not always easy for me to wake up very early. I mean, when I don't work, because I have a full-time job, so. Okay. I work as a software developer. So I used to work in web development usually, but now it's a bit more generic. But yeah, I'm a developer, and I try to go into art. And some people are artists, but try to learn software, trying to learn a programming language to do generative art, and it's like actually funny like this. Yeah, generative art is a bit a melting pot of the meeting point between artists and developers in a way. Like creative coding, like making graphics code with graphics with code. Okay, so yeah, that's a good insight with number of people. Okay. So this is like a bunch of strokes. Okay, I remember now. So what I was planning also is like I will always have it's a 2-color thing. So it's always a sunset with like a contre-jour. So it's like you have the silhouettes of everything. So it's like dark. The mountains are dark. All the objects are going to be dark because the sun is behind. But I will also try to make some lightning. So it's like if people have lights on boat, it could be interesting. So it also reflects on the water. So that means maybe it's going to be a third color for the first time, like because this series was always either monochrome or bicolor, but maybe I introduce a third color for the human lights, or it's the same as a sky color, but then it's not very relevant. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good question. Like, what should I do regarding the waves? Like right now, the idea was the idea of the reflections was to only make very minimalistic lines, as well as the sky. Like the sky is a very minimalistic representation. But I think I'm going to get more into this kind of sky, like the one I did here. So I like this idea to keep very simple lines, because that's, I don't know how to explain it, but it's to show it's generative art in a way. Like it's actually made with code, and it's actually like digital in a way. Like it's just simple lines to reference a bit to keep like a digital signature a bit. Like I don't know how to explain that, but I want to have like some kind of duality between figurative and generative art, like abstract art. So it needs to keep having some simple geometry stuff. Like I like this idea, so that's why I was only making the sky like that. But yeah, I have to find a balance in that. So maybe there will be complex waves, or maybe it's just going to be very straight lines, because it's actually small. It's very small. There's no. It's too small to show waves. Like the scale is going to be super small. So yeah, I will have to think about that. But the boat for sure could have different angles. Yeah. My big question is like, should I embrace like the medieval style, or should my sequel of series of areas should all have the same style? And it's something that has been challenging me from the beginning. So yeah, I think I will have to keep some of this style, but yeah, I still can innovate on more ideas. And even the sky, like it could have some funny. Well, I don't remember if I have kept it somewhere here, but Yeah, no. Well, yeah, I mean, we can do this crazy decoration. Yeah, sometimes it's very, very minimalistic. So, yeah. Yeah. Japanese medieval art. Yeah, maybe I have to dig into that as well. So, I guess I will, I will try to return it's a weird structure here, but it's like a vector of lines, of like polylines. But also we know which color it is. So it's like when we have a 0, 1, or 2 index of the color. But yeah, at least it gives me a way to provide that. But I think for now we will keep it minimalistic. We will probably have to do that later. Okay, so with Copilot, GitHub Copilot, it can suggest me some code. So position, okay, size. I don't know what this will be. I think we have to have a reference size. Reference size is like the height of the boat somehow. So we like synchronize all the size to make them consistent. So it's like depending on it's like the same value as the human size. But then that means we have to. Okay, I think we will have a width factor, like how long is the boat versus the size. Instead of injecting a RNG, because the idea will be to make everything explicit, and the randomness is coming from the outside. So phase, I don't need that. Origin, angle, size, width factor. And yeah, I guess that's a good start. Okay, and one way I was developing this is to apply the translation and rotation only at the end, like that. Okay. Let's use some medieval music. Okay, so routes, translation to origin and angle rotation. Okay. The start must be the end of the previous line. So actually this a vector of so it's an array of points, and the idea is just it's like we are going to connect. This is going to make a path. So we are going to connect all these points together. This is making a polyline, a polygon, a polyline. So it's a list of points. Makes we connect them together one by one, and that makes one path that the pen can. So it's put the pen on the paper at the beginning and move to the position and lift up at the end. But then, as we don't connect all our lines together, we need another level. So we collect all the polylines that way. So it's the most minimalistic structure to represent all the lines to draw. But we could also just do all the small segments, but the problem is then the plotter will have to optimize connecting the segments together. So it's easier to help it for, even though it's optimizing, like you can use the plotter and enable a mode that is going to be optimizing the traveling of the pen. And I think I'm using it right now, which we definitely see it because it starts at the same place here. It's always doing the same stuff at the same place. Whereas it will have to go, it will do a lot of zigzags back and forth everywhere. Okay, so here I guess it just doesn't know the type yet, so it's complaining, but I have to push something. Okay, so the goal will be to define the width based on that. I guess we can say it's a multiplication of the size. Yeah, why not? So we are going to do a very simple structure. And since we are centered on the origin, because we do the rotation with that origin, I guess we can set the origin on the middle of the boat, and it's like the floor of the boat. So that means once we set that, then we can, we can define a few data points. So usually what I will do is like, okay, I will open a, so this is what we did for last time for making all these shapes. And it's like, okay, let's brainstorm a bit how my boat will be. So maybe we can just start like that. Except, because what I will apply is then I will apply an algorithm that is going to subdivide the path, because I will have to make a curve. So I think this is going to be my my data points, but maybe I don't need this. I think I can just first try that. Okay, so I guess we define h, which is the size for now. So minus w divided by 2 and h. Maybe we need this point, I don't know. It's SVG library and free website exists to optimize path. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, technically we can also use Bezier curves, but it's easier to, because I will have to do some collision, possibly. So I will have to do clipping, and yeah, because when you output a SVG, the plotter is going to draw all the lines you have defined, but if you have you cannot clip, you have to clip yourself, you have to clip in your code, so it's easier to define the polygons. No, I don't think I have made that, because I know there is like a website to optimize SVG, yeah, but I don't think I made this one. I've made a Bezier easing, which is a library, but okay, what's up with this code? So let's push it. All right, boat. Okay, the boat. We actually have to do. We actually have to not forget doing that as well. And that's where we will have to clip people, because people will be behind and we have to remove their lines. This is going to be fun. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Did you ask me some questions last time? Because I remember someone asked me some questions. Was it you? I'm bad at remembering names. Oh no, it's your first time chat here. Okay, so I have a small utility that is called subdivide. Do I have it here yet? Oh. Yes, okay. So it's a very simple algorithm that works in a simple way. Okay, so imagine you have a polyline with a bunch of points. The way it works is recursively, it's going to do this rules. It's going to do this algorithm. So it's going to, so depending on the percentage you give it here, the interpolation, it's going to cut the line at that percentage, and it's going to cut the next line as well. And instead, it replaces that point to 2 points. And what's interesting now is that, oops, well, you get the idea. Is that now we start curving the previous 2 segments. We now have well, I think this, well, this applies as well here. So, but yeah, for the minimalistic minimalism of this example, we can just see it with 2 so there's 3 initial points, 2 segments. Now we end up with 3 segments. If we apply again, we have 5 segments, because we are going to have here and here. And like if you apply it more and more, then you start getting a curve. So it's a very simple way to implement some kind of Bezier curve. But it's not really a Bezier curve, I guess. It's just a very simple algorithm. So it's like we interpolate every time the points. It's a very simple text, yeah, 10 lines of code. No problem. I'm here for that, to answer questions. It's okay. Okay, so let's try to apply it on that path. No, I don't use a SVG curve. I mean, I could, but I could use Bezier curve, but I only do polylines. I also found a library to achieve that. Maybe I could use it, yeah, moving from Bezier curves to polylines. But when you have polylines, it's easier to do collisions, to do clipping, to do all this kind of stuff. No, the machine will actually support it. Sometimes I actually use Bezier curves, but it's harder to work with in general, I feel. But yeah, it really depends what you do. But for instance, if I will do my mountains with Bezier curves, it will be harder, because I need to know how the lines collide to each other. So yeah, that makes it much harder. Okay, what's up with this stuff? Ah, okay. Okay, now I just need to use the boat. Okay, the thing is, should this code also create the people, or if not, I need to know, yeah, I need to collide, and that's annoying. I don't know, I should organize that. Like, should the bot be the starting point and everything everything is made inside this, which makes it less much less primitive, but it's easier. Okay, well, let's try bot with people. In it. Bot with army. Okay, so that means we need to put all this complexity inside. but it makes it simpler to not have to deal with the collision and stuff outside. Okay. Okay, so we will have origin, position, and that's, yeah, and even right now it's too complex. Like this should be put in a function as well. Wow, I have too much stuff here. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So, for instance, the shield are doing clipping. The shield are removing the people under it. So I'm already doing complex stuff here. Like we have the foreground. So I have like a foreground layer where I put my shapes, and they are like clipping what's under. And I actually like this idea where the shields will be on top of the boat, will be like outside of the boat. So which is not the case in that reference, but maybe it was the case on the other. Nope. Anyway. And I use what I called a mask. I paint the polygon on a mask to just have like a binary mask to know, okay, there's an item here, so you have to remove all the lines that will eventually go there. Which makes it more efficient to do collision. Clipping is always a bit complex. But that makes the code I don't know how to organize the code in general because of this complexity. Maybe all my items are going to output like the layer where the things goes, like the Z index. It's like, okay, this is on the foreground, or it's actually in the background, and then I will have to remove all items. But it's not even that. It's also that I need to paint on the mask. So here I'm having a primitive to paint a polygon, and I'm literally painting like pixel painting the polygon. So I'm iterating on X and Y, and if it's inside the polygon, I'm painting it. Yeah. Oh yeah, to tell the story of so it's like the medieval, the shield are like showing the army, like the shape of the shield maybe. Which is why I have either like a more triangle shape or like a rectangle shape. They can vary. Yeah, layers. Oh, that makes everything harder now. But yeah, I guess I will have to do this. So we make a number here, which actually is a layer maybe. Or we don't, but we will do the same logic inside, and we have to create a mask inside the stuff. Oh. Like both are not going to collide, so I should be fine to do this locally in this function. Okay. Well, let's try it. Enough talking. Let's try to get things done. Yeah, I remember I struggled a lot last time. It took me a lot of time to actually do all this stuff. Okay, so here the goal will be to no longer have that. This will be inside, and we will just draw a boat, and we increase the X value by, I don't know how much, but yeah, quite a big number, like the width. So width factor should just, can it just be width? It's like we control the width from the outside. I guess, yeah, we can do that. H, width and height, and that's gonna be, no, we still need to have a reference size, but the width can be, yeah, can be longer. Okay. So let's see, what was the size before? It was size. Okay, we already have something called size, but I think size is, oh no, it's actually lower than the line the line height. So I guess we can just give it inside. Okay, position. Okay, origin. Yeah, it's actually for me it was actually easy to move from JavaScript to Rust. I went to Rust to learn Rust, and this was a good opportunity to do it creatively. But maybe I also write Rust like I will write JavaScript. I don't know, but no, it's actually pretty straightforward. The only complexity is when you have mutation, like this concept of ownership in variables is not easy at the beginning. Okay, just random values here for now. Well, I guess. Oops! I reversed. I reversed the bot. I guess we can calculate it once, because we can make it a bit random as well. Will it be more simple if you draw the item in code completely than not the layer index? Yeah. The problem is I will have to handle the layers globally. I have to not only define strokes to do, but also define the boundaries of my items, like they are polygons. And not everything have polygons. I mean, it's not always, depending on what I do, indeed. But like the way I do mountains or the way I do the sky, like they don't have polygons. They are just stacking on top of each other. And it's not working with the polygon layering. It's like I keep the highest line, like for each x, I will keep the highest point reached on the mountain to know if the curve goes behind or not, like if we have to stop the line, instead of having a lot of polygons, basically. So it's like different optimization, but yeah, not everything works in this polygon style, but it could be a mask. It could definitely be a mask. So yeah, I haven't figured out what will be the easiest, but it's like we could represent things in a higher level, like having items, elements, and each element can define how they paint into the mask. I guess that could work. Yeah. But yeah, that will requires me a lot of rework. I guess slowly getting there. At some point, this will be my approach probably. I'm going to read ESBuild to learn how Rust structure. ESBuild is a tool. It's made in Rust. Because we actually use it in my company, but oh wow, that's cool. I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool. Oh yeah, okay, size. Oh, it's going to overflow. Yeah. Well, it's too big anyway. Like I'm never going to draw such big boat because here we are already on the A4 paper. Yeah. So the boats are going to never be that long. Like no way, no way we have a boat that big here. Unless it's very close and then we can allow maybe on the distance to do some kind of perspective, but then that means we need to clip as well, maybe. Complex. Hello Merleur. How are you? Comment ça va? Merleur l'Enchantin. I recently learned that there is type alias. Yes, type alias. Yeah. Ça va et toi? I remember I once used it to. Yeah, I used it a bunch of time actually, but yeah, I kind of forgot about it. But it could make things easier to read or maybe harder to read. I mean, it depends how you use it. But yeah, you can. What's very funny, there's like a syntax where you can define a struct without a name as well. And recently I've been using it for my inks and papers. Like when I define an ink, I not only want to define the name, but also the color, but also a second color, because my inks behave in a way where they like diverge from one color to another when they accumulate. So I always want to define two colors, because some ink are going to move from yellow to red, some ink are going to shine like to shades in another color, like reddish reflection. Or yeah, so I want to define that, and I also want to define the stroke width they will get when used with the same pen. So and same for paper. Paper have a few things that I forgot about, but yeah, like is it dark paper or not, and a name, and then the color. So you can define a struct. I mean, they have a name, but it's a tuple. Sorry, it's their name, but it's a tuple. It's not a field. It's not fields. So that way you can more like it's like enum in Scala language. If you know Scala language, it's like a tuple, name tupled, and it's actually pretty handy. So you don't have to name the fields. So I guess you can abuse that. But for me, it was very handy because I was doing. Recently, I've been doing a very, very big. I don't know if you saw that. I think I tweeted it a few days ago. I did a color study with all my palettes. So all my inks on on one big paper. And yeah. So yeah, like I could test the inks, and yeah, that's the code looks like that. So it's like I have a big definition of all my inks, and then I will say, okay, let's try these palettes, let's try these gradients, and yeah, that makes it easier. So I'm trying to use SVG. My SVG format is where everything is coded. Because sometimes on the digital side, I will reuse the colors. Like the second color is actually not even used on the if you display the SVG, but sometimes I do post processing on a web page, like to render it nicely, and I will use these colors, the second color. So I will store them in the data field, in the SVG anyway. I will restore it on the other side. But yeah, that's why I needed these colors. Okay, so we have boats, but they are going outside of the paper. Okay, so if the x plus width is higher than, okay, break or continue? No, break. Okay, we are not going to align on the right, but it's okay. We don't care. I mean, we could we could do this extra work. That could make it more fancy. Yeah, no, let's not waste time for this. Okay, so I have boats, and while the subdivision works, it's doing its work, but so it's curving at least, this stuff. And if I change the interpolation, we are going to have more curvy shapes. Okay, but I think this value should be not exactly at the same place, and maybe not. Yeah. Should I still make it a bit low polygon? Like I want to keep a mood like the digital spirit, like the low polygon can be there a bit. Or it's very curvy. I don't know. But what I know for sure is we need a second level of like to make the. So this is like the floor, and we have to make a second level to actually make the boat. And for that, I think we will raise again this position, I guess. Okay, so for now I'm hardcoding a lot of stuff, but yeah, I think this could be some variables. Whoa, what's that? Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so now what I'm wondering is, should I fill the inside or not? But also, like the boat should be so small that the things are like almost touching, I think. Is this small enough? Okay, I think I did this the wrong side, the wrong way. Okay, well, we must have something closer to that. And I want to make an animal head. So like the front should be different. Okay, maybe the x1 is going to be this value. And it's actually interesting to vary it. So maybe we need the RNG here to just make a random variation of the shape of the boat. Because I like this idea to vary this value a bit. X1. Okay, so we are going to get to introduce a RNG. So a number generator is mutating, so you have to define it as a mut. And I also need to define a parametric type here because RNG is an implement. It's like an imp. It's a trait. So it can be implemented in many ways. So it's the pattern I have found to achieve that. So RNG have to also be provided as a mut, a reference mut. And that way I will be able to throw some random numbers. So I can get a random number. So I guess I can multiply and I can pick a number from. So 0.5 is the max. And maybe we will do 0.02. Well, that's a huge difference, but we'll see. So yeah, now I guess we will have a lot of randomness. Okay, nice. Which makes them very weird. Should it be symmetrical? Maybe it shouldn't, but it shouldn't vary too much. Yeah, why not? Then I think these values are actually interesting because maybe that's the boundaries where people are as well. Because it's where the position where the stuff start curving. And we will need to position, we will need an animal head. I don't know how we will do it. Maybe I will focus on that first, like I don't know how you call that. Like the boat animal heads. Let's take some examples. But I think I'm going to I know a bit how I will actually do them. I will inspire from some stuff I did in the past, maybe. When I've made the gargoyle on the first day of Inktober, I think. That was a fun challenge. Or maybe I make a more recognizable animal because the idea will be the animal reflects, like represents the team, like the everything needs to be consistent to each other. So if you have like attacker versus defenders, well, they need to have some flags with an animal maybe, and that same animal is on the boat, and then we can develop different shapes. Or we don't push too much effort in. I don't know. In any case, I can try a bunch of strokes that are like shaped in a way that looks like a head. And to do that, I guess, wolves, rabbits, maybe. But I was like thinking also like throwing two lines like makes like a like a mouth. So it's like you can do this kind of shape and then that. It's like you can organize a bunch of lines like that. I mean, this part is filled, so it's like, okay, this is like a very minimalistic idea, but, and like the goal is like these are so small that they are actually touching. So then when you are very small, you don't see that anymore. But it's a bit this, the idea of how to, how to achieve that in the minimal amount of strokes and like not doing too much pen up and down. It's a bit the goal. So yeah, that could be a way. Well, here it's too far. It's a quack. It's a duck. It's a bit it's a bit it's a bit too much work for a very small detail, but still, I mean, yeah, it's still nice to have some small detail like that. So one side of the boat is the front, and does that work for both direction, or should it always be the longer? Like I feel the back is when there is a more angular curve. Maybe not. I mean, we can allow both cases. We don't really care. Okay, so let's try it out. Make a boat head. Okay, so this was the boat bottom, and this one was the boat top, and we will use these lines to determine. We can actually look up on the curve here to know if we are under or like below or above the boat, and we can crop based on that. So we can remove the strokes of the people based on that. So I guess we will do this. To do routes will be used to clip people. And yeah, it's a technique I used in the past. It's not so hard to make, so that should be fine. Make a boat head on nope. Where is this position? Yeah, it's. I was thinking just making. For now, I'm just going to put random strokes, not even having any logic. Okay, I'm going to just randomize a bunch of things, and we can put more detail later. Like, it's always a trade-off of time and effort versus like, if it's small enough, we don't really care about too much detail. Okay, so we can pick a random angle. So it's like between 0 and minus pi divided by 2, I guess, or pi divided by 2. I never remember which direction this works. Okay, so origin, and there is like an amplitude, and so we multiply cosinus. That's something I like in Rust is the fact we have methods on on primitives like cosinus, sinus function, like all the math, like all the, it works like a Scala implicit. It's like you can define an implementation on any types, and you can actually define in that way. You can define if you import in the scope. Usually they call it prelude. So if you import them in the scope, then it's you actually provide some functions, some methods. Okay. It's not working. Oh, I think it stopped. It stopped running because I only ran for 1000 of time. Yeah, because I vary the seed. Okay, and it broke. That's weird. Can you control typecasting? I don't think you need to. I never had to manage that. Because you don't, it's very strongly typed. You cannot, like it's much more punitive than not allowing that, I think. That's how I see it. But maybe I never needed that much, like to go that complex in my code. But sometimes you need to, I mean, sometimes there is helper to cast from one type to another, like the into. But is this, yeah, it works. Yeah. I remember sometimes I use that, but it's not really a cast. Like you can do a number, like you can do 4, it's a uint, it's an integer, but you can cast it. But it's not a cast as a typecast, it's actually doing something. Well, I guess it's a cast like in C. But it's literally converting them. It's not just changing the type. Well, it does both. But I know, for instance, when you have vector, you can do into, and it's like you have a helper into box here, into stuff, yeah. And it's like I'm not really good enough to explain it, but you can convert from one type to another that way. So I guess it's some kind of casting helper. So yeah, I guess that's into is that way. Yeah, is that utility to cast. Yeah. What's going on? What? I must have not a number or something. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong here. What? What did I broke? I don't get it. Oh, it never ends, maybe. Oh, I broke the matrix. Wait, this code is not doing anything. It's not even touching routes. It's only using RNG. Does this break anything? What? Okay, so sometimes it's not inferring the types neither. Okay. Well, too much computer. Too much internet. That makes no sense. I don't know what I broke. Something happened. Origin. Oh, origin. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's something that is often useful in Rust, but also a trap is that you can name a variable the same way it was named before, which often is a very good idea because I like to say, okay, x is x divided by 2, then x is like, okay, and now I apply a rotation. Like doing like chaining that way is nice, but the trap is sometimes you accidentally rename something that is defined above and used after. And yeah, I messed up that. Okay, we are getting there very slowly, but so it's going to do a flower bouquet. It's not going to be a head yet, but that's something to fix later. Well, not that big. Anyway, it's very, very ugly and minimalistic, and yeah, not something we want to keep, but yeah, fix me, make an actual head. Yeah, so I'm sad we didn't manage to make the people yet, and I'm going going soon to finish my stream, so I think I can at least play them without collision. That would be a good start, and I will have to finish it offline. So anyway, we know how to finish them. I will try to write them down in a to-do as well. Okay, so we humans, we have some humans, some army of people, and the goal will be to loop from x1 to x2, I think. So I guess we can define with Rust we define mut when a variable is going to be reassigned, and because we do a loop, we are going to reassign x until it reaches x2, and I guess we can increase the same way I was doing before here. So in my the way I do human bodies was very interesting. That's something we did on last session, on last stream. It was on Saturday, I think. I have defined a struct with all the joints, all the human joint angles. So it's like, okay, what is the body angle here? So you can change the angle of everything, like the whole armature, like the whole body, all the joints can be changed. So you can do any posture, any human posture that way. And well, I have hard-coded a lot of them, but they can rotate in different ways. And the idea is also to use to get at the end the angle, like what is the arm angle. I forgot to check the audio. Is it too loud or? Okay, normally we are good. We are in the minus 40 decibels. Okay. Nice music. X reverse, what is that? shape 1, shape 2. Oh yeah. The idea was to have that define. So that's like the shield shape. And here we have, okay, that's finally here where we have some foreground rods and foreground masks. Okay, that's where the stuff, the fun begins. So, how do we manage to do that locally? But we do need to do that for the shields. If we don't, we are going to collide the shields into each other. It's going to be very ugly. We saw it last time. Oh yeah, we also have this stuff because we have the mask. Oh, that's going to be super complex. Like the mask is having a resolution and it's not meant to be negative. It's like this idea to put the actual canvas. But here I'm a local. It's locally positioned, so yeah, that's gonna be complex. For now, we will not have the mask in place yet. Okay, we are close to make this run. So we will not have shields yet, I think, but they should appear. Okay, there is one person. What the fuck? What are you doing? What are you doing, guy? Man, what are you doing? What's going on? Why is this wrongly positioned like that? Oh, X center. Why was it done like that? I don't know. Oh yeah, I forgot to... Origin. Okay. Oh, they were all positioned, all stacked at the same place. So I forgot what was my my position system for the human body. I think it was the hip. The hip, I think. The origin is the hip. I don't remember. Origin. Does it accept armature? Well, I have defined all the armature angles, so I can position differently the. But it's very, very basics. It's very basic. Just okay. This defines a bunch of points where I will draw some lines, and it's very simple stickman for now. But the idea is like it has to be the drawing will have to be small, small enough to not have to care about that, or we have to push more effort in that. Wow, they are very, very offset. Because the origin is actually relative. I'm doing the same mistake again. X center. Are you able to pass a drawing with position to another? Yeah, no, I don't think I went to that crazy. Yeah, it's very, very simple for now. But yeah, I could go there. Like right now, the human joint angles defined just a struct with a bunch of information, and then I have a human body structure which are going to project all the points, and then it's going to render. So it's like a stickman. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 polylines, and that's it. But I have all the position of all the points of my body, and yeah, it could be complex here. Like it could become more fancy. Like there is not even a head yet. Like the head have to be positioned later. It's only the body part, because the head can be different. Like it could be some different helmets. Okay, so now, well, that's interesting. Now we just need to do, well, I don't think it's going to be, we just need to do one easy thing and it's finished. No, I think it's going to be a bit more complex, but yeah, I don't know what we will do. What we will need to make it better, but that's gonna be fun. Well, if we remove the bottom part, it makes it more interesting, but they could be a bit bigger, maybe. Like the boat could be smaller. Maybe not. Choices. Too much choices. Okay, I'm going to randomly change the y coordinate. Between minus 0, 3 times size and 0. Okay, so some kind of, yeah, it must be more subtle. And then we just put a lot of sticks all in the same direction, like in the reference. But it's only... Okay. Is there a very easy way for me to implement the collision, the clipping? Because I have an utility clip routes that maybe I can use. Well, that's what I will have to do anyway. And yeah, let's not forget about the shields. So for now we can, I mean we can show them, but they are going to be colliding into each other in a very ugly way. Well, we can see them here, but well, that's very ugly. I want really to make them in front, so they like remove the. So okay, to do is going to be clip the foreground routes. And I think the shield are in front of the boat actually, and so clip the foreground mask, clip the routes with the foreground mask, which have the shield. Then we extend the shield into routes, and then we will have everything. But we also need here to clip the body. Oh, we were already doing that. Okay. Okay, to do fix me. And then clip human body with boat top. Okay, perfect. He knows. The AI, the GitHub Copilot, infers everything. Okay, well, I guess if we implement the clipping of with the boat and the clipping with the shields, it's going to be much better. It's going to be almost everything, except we also need to add some sticks under the shields still. So I guess we do it here. So maybe we can remember all the human positions, or we just, yeah, maybe we add them at the same time. Where is the position? Okay. Stick, I don't know how you call that. Okay, so we have an angle. I guess for now we can hard code it. We will see later what we can do. Okay, so amplitude down and amplitude up. So I guess. Okay, I'm trying random numbers for now. Between size and minus size. And then we just need to do amplitude 1 multiplied by angle cosinus. And now we have too much. So maybe we do half of the time. Or like randomly. In a way it makes sense because maybe they are on both sides, so we can just focus on one side. And also it's indeed too big. Yeah, I guess generative art, yeah, like abstract generative art, yes, they're all based on noise. Okay, why is this? Do you have a noise function? Well, right now I have a RNG, so I can pick a random number, but if you mean like a Perlin noise or stuff like that, yeah, usually I will use Perlin noise, so like it's a library in Rust. And yeah, like for my mountains, for the mountains, I would definitely will use Perlin noise and like use a lot of noise, a lot of different amplitude and frequencies, or like combine them together to make complex, more or less complex noises. Okay, what is negative actually here? I don't. It's going down. Okay. Oh yeah, the classical GLSL shader. And by the way, this function, this is like one of the most known noise in shaders. Is actually not stable between computers, like between different graphic cards. So it's very not recommended to use that for generative art. You don't want to use trigonometry. You don't want to use sinus and cosinus. They are not stable between implementations. You have a very subtle differences, especially when you multiply like that with a very high number. So that's why you have a better. And I think I was discussing this with some other generative artists recently, and there is no stable, there is no reliable way today to achieve that in the shader. So it's very it's pretty much you are fucked to make something very reliable. I mean, reliable in a way that you can reproduce the same result everywhere. But if you don't care about that, yeah, it works. Yeah, if you want to generate the same image. Not necessarily between Windows and Mac, but more between different graphic cards, yeah. Or I don't think it's a problem between browsers, but it's more a problem between different computers. Maybe OS as well, but yeah. So I think it looks pretty good, but we will definitely want to have more collisions. The clipping will help really, yeah, will help a lot. I'm not sure if maybe I will want to double the lines of the boat, or like making some decoration on the boat. Like we could have some shields on the boat as well, instead of having people keeping them, but it's more or less the same. Yeah, with the shield it's going to be okay. Like this, it's going to fill the space anyway, and we will have yeah, I think we'll have interesting stuff. Maybe I want another line in the middle of the... Yeah, I think I want another curve in between. Which will be... maybe that. Okay. Yeah, I guess. I'm just not sure about this the spike effect. So maybe we will want to diverge a bit the points. Anyway, that's like tweaks. That's some tweaks. I have to tweak a lot of things, even from the past work. Like to me, like this belfry are very ugly. Like I have to simplify their randomness. They are too unpredictable, too unstable. Like some of them are not making any sense. You don't really recognize a belfry tower, so I have to improve that. Trebuchets are pretty good. I will just have to make the fireball. I want to make fireball flying from the trebuchet. So yeah, I haven't yet made the projectile. So yeah, we'll have to work on that. I think the people are pretty cool already. I was not satisfied by the bow. Like the position of the bow is not good. So yeah, still a lot of things to improve here. I think people should have. Well, it really depends on what is going to be the size as well. But it's not enough detailed if we keep it that size. But I think it was never meant to be that big on paper. Like on a A4 paper. So I think that closes our iteration for today. We have made people on boats. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied by the result. But still, I think we can push it further. And this is going to be pretty cool to see that in a landscape, like with more stuff around. Like some army attacking a castle. That's gonna be cool. So see you YouTube, and next episode soon. Bye bye.